What up, dude? Welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for a gang debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Curt. Today, we look at the record-setting performances by the Detroit Lions this season. Man, what the Lions are doing this year. We're going to just look back at some of that. Season's, of course, not over. Just the regular season. We look at some of the regular season mark that the Lions have set. Man, if you're new to the channel, you know how the show works. We look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, or takes. If we agree, we say they're a boss up. If we disagree, we say they're a bought on. And for live shows, we do live differently. I want you to put hashtag boss up in the comments, hashtag bought on. If you disagree, if you agree, of course, we bought on, bossed up, excuse me. And, you know, this is interactive. We want to make sure, you know, we get your voice heard. We'll put it on the screen. We'll talk about it, why you agree or disagree. No high stakes here. Just natural debate about our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. Now, I started bringing my guest for today's show. Y'all know who it is, man. It's Jason Statham Sr., because he's so big, man. It's my man Anthony from Rhode Island, UK, man. I can't call him Junior, man, because he's just way bigger than the other guy. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, I'm doing well, thanks, Curt. Hope you're well as well. Hope you're enjoying the 1 seed status. I know I am. It's a fun week to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you, man, since after I haven't talked to you since the game. So, you know, what do you think about how was you feeling watching that game on well, I guess on Monday morning there?
That first half was that was nervous viewing. That's the sort where you're biting your fingernails and going, "Oh my god, they can't get out of second gear. The game's there for them to be had, and they were just kind of making it a little bit difficult for themselves." But eventually, they got out their funk, and like that last fourth quarter, that is one of the most calm, collected fourth quarters we've had in forever. Like usually they're nervy affairs. You didn't feel anything after that Al-Qadin sack with 12 minutes to go and they punted. Yeah. That was it. It was just, it's like, why am I've been looking forward to this game all week, all the stakes and everything, and for the final 10 minutes I'm just like, man, this is chill, this is peaceful, I love it. You know, give me more of these.
This is a butt whooping. All right, so before we get into the show, my man Lauren Vander Esch, he's in the chat right now. So he sent me something, and I said I was going to unbox it on the show. So I got the package right here. So let's see what my man sent me. What we got going on here? Breaking this thing open. All right, what we got here?
You've muted yourself, Curt.
Oh, got a JG. Oh, man. Thanks, my guy. I really appreciate that, man. Look at that. Got a motorcycle.
Oh, man.
JG.
That is a great present. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I really appreciate that, brother. Man, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Really appreciate that, man. This is my first Jay-Z. This is my first golf. I'm wearing my new jersey I just got yesterday in the mail. My wife gave me some Nike gift cards, and I bought the Jahmyr Gibbs, but I haven't had this one, man. Lauren, man, I really appreciate this, man. I'm beyond words, man. I really appreciate, man, the JG, man. When golf first got here, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. That's good for my birthday's coming up, man. So this is a good gift. My birthday's next week. So I'll put this in the rotation, man. You know, because I'll say this: when golf first got here, that's what it means a lot, man. Golf, I was calling him Goof. Me and my man Jim, and he wasn't. But his first season, he struggled a little bit, and it was because he was on a bad team. But yeah. He's turned it around, man. And I'm a golf believer for real. So thank you, man. I really appreciate that, Lauren, man. I'm just, man, I'm taken aback by that, man. I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, dang, I'm speechless on that one, man. I really appreciate that, man. All right, so let's get into the show, man. What we're going to talk about today's show, and this is a record-setting season. The Lions had some team records this season in the NFL and as a franchise, and then we had some players that set some records in 2024 as well, NFL NFL records and franchise records. So we're gonna check it out today. See what's going on with that, man. So let's kind of check it out, man. Let's see what's going on with these records, man. First of all, what was your feelings about the regular season, Ant, before we get into this?
I mean, anytime you win 15 games, it's a good season, right? Like, you're doing something if you're winning that, especially in such a competitive division like we are. Like, literally, we've got 2 double-digit win teams in here with us, and we've swept them. But I thought the regular season, I thought it was really good. Obviously, you have the loss in week 1. Week 2 against Tampa. You sort of have that early setback. You overcome that, and then really the stretch post bye, like when you're going into that, we had a lot of tough road games. We went there, we won. We're unbeaten on the road this year. Like, that's so impressive. Like, that almost never happens in the NFL, to go unbeaten on the road when we've been to some tough gaffes, and we've had some tough assignments out there. Mm-hmm. They've just shown such mental fortitude this year, especially with all the injuries, losing Hutch so early, losing some of your star defensive players, just been absolutely ragged thin in some positions to, scouring anywhere and everywhere for replacements. Mm-hmm. And, they've not used it as an excuse. That's the mentality here, which is the most impressive thing about this season, is they've not made a single excuse. You hear Justin Jefferson complaining about the refs the other day, even though the refs were unilaterally favoring them all night. Those teams make excuses. That's why the Minnesota Vikings couldn't beat us, because they've got excuses. We have words, and we say our words. We do our thing. And that's just what's been so good about this season. And they've just won games all sorts of different ways as well. We've dominated some teams. We've won some close games. Hell, we won a game with 5 turnovers. That's just been the most impressive thing for me, is the mental resiliency. That's what this season's been about. And that's what I'll remember most from this season. Hopefully a little bit longer to go yet, though. It's only half the job. All these records, all this season and everything means nothing if you get bounced now. So, here's for a few more wins just yet.
Yeah. All right. For me, man, I was looking at this season, man. I'm like, it was a blur. But you look at this season, 15-2, with some of the things that the Lions have been through, some of with all the injury fronts and everything, and then even the last game where they were just doubted. People were saying that the Vikings was going to come in and score a 50 on us, but the Lions have rose to the occasion each time. And what Dan Campbell said in the post game, like, you remember who you were. You remember who you were, or you are who you are. You remember who you are this game. So, yeah, I like the way that this resiliency has of this team, and I love the way that they play. But let's get into some of these records for the team, man, because I'm looking at this. Some of the stuff is astounding, and this is just some of them. This is not all of them. This is just some of the things that the Lions have did this season. Let's look at. They had an NFL record 5 games with 40 points with 0 turnovers. That's crazy. An NFL record with 4 players with 1,000 scrimmage yards. That's Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, and my man Waymo. Because can't forget Waymo. An NFL record 24 consecutive games with a rushing touchdown. That's bananas. And then they tied the NFL record with at least 35 passing touchdowns and 25 rushing touchdowns. The only other team to do that was the 2000 Rams. That's the greatest show on turf. That's a great company to be in. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, what a great time to be a Lions fan, to look at all these records. Look at their franchise record. Team record 15 wins in a single season. A team record 29 rushing touchdowns. Number 1 seed in the NFC and back-to-back division titles. And here's the really thing that's would get the team 564 points scored this season, 410 first downs, and the most touchdowns in a season in franchise history with 70 touchdowns. I mean, these are some all-time records, not just for the Lions franchise, but in the NFL. I'm looking at this team. I'm looking at this what we did in this season. I mean, we're not even talking about the things that we led the league in this year. like third down defense was number one in the league. But look at what all these records that the Lions set as a franchise. What do you think about this season? I mean, let's looking back on it.
I mean, it's just dead impressive, right? You know, we came in, we thought last year was good offensively, and then you come in this year and you've blown everything out the water, and that speaks to one thing, and that speaks to the coaching. Like, in the NFL, you have to adapt your offense. People thought after last year, Ben would get figured out, teams would have more on tape on us, and, you know, they'd be able to keep us quieter. And what they've done is they've just created this deep, intense playbook that just goes so far down, and there's so much in it, and it's complex but effective at the same time to take on a wide variety of defenses, and so few people have really been able to hold up against us with it. So, you know, it's because, you know, Ben's a genius, and I do feel a bit put back about everyone saying that Aaron Glenn is the better head coach, is you know, he'd be the better head coach candidate. You know, he's done the better job here, but we've got to remember Aaron Glenn's had one good year here. Ben Johnson, every year he's been here, has been good. And again, what makes it so great is he keeps adapting. You don't just do the same thing all the time. You know, that's why teams like the 49ers and that have been figured out this year. They've not changed the way they play, and teams have adapted to it. And I know injuries have happened, but still, you've got to adapt your game. And Ben just keeps evolving. Like, there's no stopping. And when we've been playing a one-seed schedule this year, with some of the games we've played, to break all our records, it's very impressive from him. Now, you know, you've got to temper all this with the fact that this lot means jack if we get bounced in the divisional round. We'll look back on this on 10 years as it was a good regular season. So, you know, you want to kind of cap this off and make it really special and win the Super Bowl. But you've got to give credit to Ben for this, and for developing his guys as well. What Jameer's done, you know, in year one, what, you know, JMO, like the JMO's rise to go. Obviously, staff have to take credit as well, but it's just impressive. No one can deal with it. Everybody wants him. Everybody wants to be him. Like, so it is. It's true.
I get it. We're going to talk about him a little bit later because we're going to talk about some of the coaching carousel, the interview requests, and they're going to be starting the interview process really soon for both of those guys. But I mean, you said it right, man. You look at what the offense have been able to do, and what some of the things the defense has been able to do. But the offense has really set like a really, really high standard for this team. And I think I brought this up one other time, and I've read it. The Lions have only drawn one defensive pass interference the whole year. That means guys are making tough contested catches, or they're wide open when they catch the ball. And that's due to the Ben Johnson scheme, where he's putting guys in a position to win. And, you know, I would say more likely than not that the guys are just open. Like, they're catching the ball and they're just like open. Like, I'm not saying that they're not making contested catches, because they are, and Goff is making some good throws, but a lot of times he's scheming it up where guys are just open. Like, you know, they have a step, you know, or two steps, or I think against the 49ers, it was one where like just Sam Laporta was just wide open. Like, he was just standing there. Like, he was like, I'm just like looking at this team and what they've done. It's just crazy, man. I'm loving this team and what they have done on the offensive side of the ball and the records they set this season. Please like the video, share the video, and comment on the video, man. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself. Man, I gotta show this again, man. Laura, man, this is awesome, man. I'm just stunned. The Motor City Muscle golf jersey gift, man. Yeah, I love it, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Are they not the best uniforms we've ever had? Point blank. Even all the blue, they're the best ones we've ever had.
And the first jersey I got for the new uniforms was my daughter sent me. She asked me what I wanted, and I wanted the Motor City Muscle, and I got the Sewell Motor City Muscle, and then I got the regular season, the home blue and St. Brown, because 14 is my favorite number. My birthday is January 14th, And then I just got this one. Yes, they both came in the mail at the same day. So I got this one yesterday. It came in the mail, and then this other one came in the mail too, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a T-shirt or something. Man, I'm so flabbergasted, man. Thank you again. Hey, let's look at some of the individual records because we got to talk. You can't talk about you got to talk about team records first because this is a team first culture, right? Anything else on the other end is gravy on top of the potatoes. So let's look at some of the individual records. Golf, 72% completion percentage and a 4,500 passing yards in a season is an NFL record. I mean, yeah, come on, man. Jay Jizzle is killing it this year. Jack Fox, NFL record 46.2 net yards per punt. We know Foxy. He's gonna be first team All Pro this year. Sam Laporta, 144 receptions by a tight end in the first 2 seasons of his career is an NFL record. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 TDs in the same in a game in a season is an NFL record. I mean, just the offensive firepower with those 2 young fellas, man, is ridiculous. Like, and you add J-Mo on top of that, it's just crazy. Like what we can do, and we're gonna have these guys for some years. I mean, they're not just here. I mean, like they're not just like, oh, they're gonna be gone tomorrow. These guys are gonna be here for a while. Let's look at some of the franchise records set, of course, by my man, and that's why I'm wearing it. The white one too, because I wanted to represent my man Ja, because he just turned it up Sunday against the Vikings. Team record 20 total touchdowns and 1,900 yards from scrimmage. I mean, he just missed. He was 1920 was his total scrimmage yards this year. He was just shy of hitting 2,000 scrimmage yards. That's crazy. And trust me, if he wasn't splitting carries, I think he would have been up there for offensive player of the year with Saquon Barkley. That's just me. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams are the only Lions receivers in franchise history with 1,000 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns each in a season. And think about this: Jameson Williams missed 2 games with that suspension. People talk about J-Mo was a bust. I don't see that right now. And then Gibbs and Bates are the first Lions teammates to score 100 points in a single season, a franchise record. And the brick seller himself, Jake Bates, 142 yards. Means 142 points this season scored. I mean, this is a guy we didn't even think was going to be on the roster. I mean, Jake Bates was a guy we saw him struggling in camp. We were like, is this guy who's going to make the team? Well, he made the team. He broke Jason Hans's record for most points scored in a single season. Who's had the most impressive performance in the regular season as far as the record setters this year for you?
I mean, it's Jahmyr, right? Because he's in a rotation. Like he's breaking records in a rotation. And again, we go back to the whole thing that I think this has been possible for him because he's in a rotation and we can keep him fresher and more effective. But still, to put up those sort of gaudy numbers is crazy. He's been great in the passing game as well when we've needed him. You know, he's been good blocking when we've needed him to. Like, he's just surpassed all our expectations, and he's just, he's sent all the analytics nerds into a hole somewhere far away from us where we don't have to hear from them again because you don't take a running back at 12, right? Well, our team didn't get better in that draft when we drafted all these guys. Well, apparently it did, fellas, because Laporte has been good, Branch has been good, Campbell's been great this year, but Gibbs is certainly the most, I think, impressive of the individual record setters. Unfortunately for Sam, I don't think his record's going to last long because Brock Bowers has, 112 receptions this year alone. he needs 28 receptions next year to break that record. He's probably going to do that. in
like
the
week
first
2.
month of the year.
like
So
week 2 or 3.
yeah. So enjoy it while you've got it, Sam, because unless
yeah.
Brock's hurt, that one's going. But I think for the rest of them, like for Goff, it's just hella impressive.
Mhm.
People just assume he's gonna fall. Like people at this point, like that's all the negative guys have got about him is they're literally just hoping for him to fall off a cliff,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
he's not. Like
No,
what sort of
not even
quarterback
close.
wins what sort of quarterback wins a game after throwing 5 picks? Like what sort of a quarterback wins a game? Like he's had some rotten ones this year as well, but his mental fortitude is just
Mhm.
stupidly good. Like it's water off a duck's back for him. He throws a pick. Like when he first came here, we were like, oh god, how many is that going to be in this game? Now you're like, you're not scared at all, really, are you? Like, okay, bad one. He's gonna get this back, and sure enough, he'll throw a dart. Like,
Mhm.
It's been just a very impressive performance. Like the offense this will go down as maybe the best offense we've ever had ever in history. Like we've had some impressive individual players before, but in terms of how diverse this team is, in terms of how effective this team is, in terms of how mentally resilient it is, it's probably the best one we've had. And a lot of these records might stand for a long time, which just goes to show you, we're in the golden age right now when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, definitely. I think for the person that I won't say it's surprising, but the person that I wanted to have the best year, and I kind of was like, he's going to have 1,000 yards is Waymo. I thought I was like, when he needs to have 1,000-yard season to kind of quiet some of the doubters, with all the other stuff that happens with him behind the scenes and some of the, your younger mistakes he's made, never got into any type of major trouble. You know what I'm saying? There's some little things here and there. People saying take a Viagra before the game. That's why he got the 2-game suspension. That would be like, I don't know what that does for you on the field, but okay, young brother, do what you do. But like, and then like the suspension last year for the the online betting, which the guidelines really weren't that clear. That's why they really they took off 2 games for that. Gave him 6, he ended up serving 4. But one thing I could always say about him is that when he's on the field, he's doing his thing, and he's not a me guy. He's a us guy because he blocks. You know what I'm saying? When it doesn't matter who's scoring, he's always right there celebrating with his teammates. He's giving a shine to his other guys when he's making his big plays. He's doing his thing. I'm proud of him for getting that. And they wanted him to get that 1,000 yards because they made it sure at the end of the game to throw him the ball. He didn't have no business being in the game. It was kind of like the Mike Evans things where they didn't have to do that, but they wanted to make sure he met that benchmark. And that shows what he means to his team, his coaches, you know what I'm saying? So they wanted him to get that for him. 1,000 yards in any season for a receiver, especially in an offense like this where the ball is so spread around. You got 4 guys that got 1,000 scrimmage yards apiece. That's rare. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only time it's ever happened in the NFL history. And for him to be part of that and to miss 2 games is something that's special for me. That's the guy I wanted to see to see have that achievement, man. And St. Brown's going to do his thing. All pros coming up. I believe we're going to have about 3 or 4 guys on there again this year. Probably looking at St. Brown, Penei Sewell again. I think Kirby Joseph makes it. I think that's going to make up for his Pro Bowl snub, him making an All Pro this year. And I think the one other guy that I probably think's going to make it, and he missed some time, but he has the numbers to put it up, is Khalif Raymond. He leads the league in punt return yards, and he's missed like 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
But he still leads the league in punt return yards. And like, what team, and just as a Lions fan, I didn't think that was possible for a team that we have in Detroit, where we can have all these statistical records. But you look at the 15-2, these guys have earned all this stuff because they put the product out on the field.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, with JMO, how can you not look at JMO's big ass grin and not want to root for him? Like, he is the community. Like, nobody gets out in the 3-1-3 more than what JMO does. Like, he is out in the community. He is more than anybody else. I don't get why you can hate the kid. Like, the mistakes that the stuff he's been suspended for is bogus. There's been a witch hunt on him. He's made a few youthful mistakes, but who cares? At the end of the day, he is one of the hardest workers on that team. He's earned the
Yeah,
right for the ball this year. And he's not just doing it as a deep ball merchant. He's doing it in the short game, the intermediate game, out of the backfield, deep. Like, I just don't get how you could not root for the kid. He's
he
money.
works.
He is who you pay to go and watch. Like, you see Amon Ra and Penny and those guys, they're the cornerstones. He's the guy who makes the big play that everyone goes, oh my God, that was amazing. I wish I was there for that play type thing. He is that guy, and he's
Yeah,
turning into that guy. And I just
yeah,
could not be happier for him. Like, I will always, always, always be in JMO's corner, no matter what they try and come
yeah,
after him with.
yeah, definitely. Because he just sets the tone, man. Like he's a guy like Gibbs, or like it's a blink and he's in the end zone. Like and those two guys, man, those two Bama kids, man, those Bama boys, definitely they
They
are,
got grit.
man, don't they? Don't they? All right, so let's get into this last little quick section of the day's show. Get your update on the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors, man. Amon-Ra St. Brown, man, that blue hair is back. He posted a picture on his on the St. Brown's podcast X feed, a picture of him with the Honolulu blue hair. We all know what that did last year, man, and we all remember the story of the young the gentleman that dyed his hair blue in solidarity with St. Brown, and he ended up passing away last year. But yeah, the St. Brown, his blue hair, man, he's in playoff mode. And then next thing you got Aaron Glenn and of course Ben Johnson set to start interviewing either probably this week or next. It's going to be soon. Right now the reports are the Bears have requested to interview both coordinators, and then for AG, the Saints and the Jets want to interview him. And I think another reports are that that the Patriots are interested in at least interviewing Ben Johnson, but I think they got their eyes set on Vrabel or somebody like that. And then in sad news, man, I read this morning. Over the weekend, 13-year-old Javon Taylor was tragically killed in the shooting when a crossfire shooting in Florida. Caught in a crossfire on Saturday evening, man. And this was reported by Miami, CBS News Miami. And the young man who is the Taylor is the nephew of Lions wide receiver Maurice Alexander. So that's just tragic, man. I hate to see that. The young man getting killed in senseless gun violence, man. But my prayers are out to the Maurice Alexander and his family, man, for that tragic incident with his nephew. But we're just kind of updating you on latest Detroit Lions news and rumors. That we can't just skip past that, man. But because I was one of the guys, we did a whole show on Aubrey when the young man that got killed by the in an incident in Georgia, and he happened to be Tracy Walker's cousin. So we reported on that on this show well, that was a Die Hard Dan podcast back then. So a little different. They're a different show, but after it was before the rebrand. So what do you think about Aaron Glenn? And we want you to go a little deeper in this because I know this is kind of what you were talking about earlier. Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson getting these coaching interviews is going to start here real soon.
I mean, not something we're not used to, is it? They both got them last year. They both decided their future was going to be here. But at some point, good teams will lose their coordinators. And, this is a good thing for the Lions. I know it might be and it might not be. But if you want to be good, you're going to have to be prepared to lose guys as you go along. But what we know is these guys aren't just going to senselessly jump for the wrong job. Like Ben's been quite, vocal out there about his desire to go somewhere, which is a good setup for him. It also shows how smart he is. Like, the guys know they've got it good here. The guys know that here they're in a successful system where they're going to be able to thrive. So the fact that they're not all just jumping ship very quickly in the first year they can do speaks to how good the culture is here with everything. And if one of them does leave, then they're doing it because they genuinely, truly feel like they're going to a good situation. So that's testament to this team, how much they've been able to keep these guys here and, present a better alternative than going to get a better job somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do lose them, I mean, I'm not worried. I mean, remember this coaching staff when we started here? We had, outside of Hank and Ben, there were no good coaches here when Dan arrived. Like, there was nothing. We put together a random hodgepodge of guys who, a lot of them hadn't done it before, just completely random. It was just like a bunch of randomers in a room who they kind of knew each other, but they'd not done it before. We just threw a lot of darts at the wall, and we managed to create this staff out of it, which was tremendous. We kept the right guys from the old regime. We brought a load of good new ones in. This time, the advantage we're going to have over, and if we can do a success of it just throwing darts at a wall, imagine how successful we're going to be now that we've got an actual system in place here, and we've got guys that are training, we've got guys in waiting, we've got in-house appointments we can make for these guys to go up. Like, there are people ready for these jobs. There are people who know exactly what needs to be done, who know how this team plays, how it functions, or bring their own little flair to it. I don't worry about this. It's just, for me, it's going to be the big test of this team. Can we replace the coordinators successfully, like San Francisco do with the defensive coordinators, etc.? It'd be an exciting new era for us. And I don't worry. And everyone goes, oh, what if they take all the positional coaches with them, yada, yada, yada. I don't think any of these coaches are going to leave with them. Why? Because Detroit is such a good place. They're in one of the top jobs already. Why do you want to go and take a similar job at another team just with your buddy from here? Why would you leave a successful system? There's no reason for our positional coaches to leave unless they're getting massive promotions. But we'll promote guys from the interior. They'll get promoted. That's how you work. And if the Lions carry on being successful, we'll go through a chain of appointments very quickly. So you'll be able to progress your career here quickly. So I'm really not as worried as other people are. Everyone, I know it's a lot of opposition fans go, once Ben goes, we're screwed. No, we're not. We've got a great head coach who knows his strengths, who knows his weaknesses, who makes good appointments based on what we need. And if he makes a bad one, Anthony Lynn, off the secondary coaches we had, he gets rid. It's quick. He makes a quick, sharp decision, goes again. So I'm not worried. I'm rooting for Ben and Aaron. If they get a head coach job, I will wish them nothing but the best. If they stay, great. But I just believe in this organization's ability to replace them and to identify talent to do so.
Yeah, for me, I think it's one of those things where you look at these guys are being mentored too. Like Dan Campbell makes sure that he's mentoring guys to be head coaches. He's mentoring Scotty Montgomery. He's mentoring Aaron Glenn. He's mentoring Ben Johnson to be head coaches, because some guys, sometimes that's what was the problem with Belichick. He didn't mentor his guys. He just had guys on his staff, and he was in control of everything. But they get up in front of team. They lead team meetings. They lead their position meetings. They lead their breakout sessions. And these guys, they put as much onus that they give, or autonomy they give to the players, they give the same thing to the coaches. They make them responsible for their positions, their sections of the team. And I like what they're doing. And they're like you said, they're making sure that they have the next guy up to come in and go ahead and take over the mantle. So it is 30 minutes or less. So we're out of today's show. We're out of time, man. My man, Anthony, tell people where they can find you and your show.
Yeah, you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. We're live 2 or 3 times a week. I do a college ball show if you like talking college football. So you will find me here or there and everywhere. You'll see me with Curt and Dan and everybody as well. So yeah, check us out, Roar of the Lions UK. We're happy to have you on board.
Yeah, definitely. We were hanging out yesterday. I was hanging out last night with Herman Moore and some of the guys over there at Lions Nation Unite. You can catch Anthony over there as well, hanging out, doing his thing. Hey, if you haven't done so already, make sure you follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms. Coach Jones does a great job with his Wolverine Sports Talk, and then actually his boxing platform, his playlist over here, Beyond the Ropes. My man LL, he's in the chat right now. He does a great job over on his Instagram page, man. Make sure you go check out his yam farm over there on his Instagram page. And of course, I post content from this channel on all of my social media platforms. We're live right now on X, on Facebook, and make sure you check us out over there as well. Thank you guys for tuning in right here on the Boss Up Baller podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. This is Curt Steele from my man Anthony of the Royal Lions UK. This is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.